Greetings of the day, dear learners. I am back with my fifth lecture, which is Barefoot Historian in my 11th module. And here I will discuss about the various folk elements which have formed an industry of their own, which have actually was started, we can say, in a very meager setting, maybe, right, in a very, like in a dense populated area, but very few people knew about it. But how that folk element has been carried forward through generations and how they have become an industry of their own. I will be discussing about few of these in this lecture, and I have divided them specifically, according to some artifacts, we can say, or some textiles, or some masks and everything in central India, West India, northern India, which are important actually, and in a way I have discussed how they have formed the folk culture of India. First, I will start with the instances we have from Northeast India. In Northeast India, we have the Majuli river, the Majuli island we have, an Assamese or Ohomia river island, and is well known around the world for its rich cultural legacy, especially the Mukho Shilpo. The Mukho Shilpo means the traditional mask making technique. As part of the Neo Vaishnavite movement, the Bhavana, a type of devotional theatre that dramatizes mythical tales from epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, is the main application for the masks. And how are the masks? They frequently represent animals, gods, demons and other creatures. The Shamoguri Shatru, a monastery establishment in Majuli, is the most well known hub for this mask making custom. In my earlier lectures, I have given you a photo of how a Majuli mask actually looks, right? It's huge, it's decorated, it has proper features of eyes and everything, because it shows, or you can say it portrays, the emotion of the actor. Here in the Shamoguri Shatru, the masks are made by skilled artisans, many of whom are monks themselves, using traditional methods. To construct the shape and characteristics, layers of clay and cow dung are put on top of a lightweight bamboo frame. After drying, the surface is polished and painted in vibrant hues using natural dyes. And as I said, they sometimes cover the entire body, some just cover the face. So, which covers the entire body is called bormukh or chaumukh, and the straightforward face covers are called mukhomukh. There are also lotokai mukh or marks with movable elements like eyes and lips that allow for greater expression during performances. Other Shatros which we have are the Notun Shamoguri Shatro, the Bihimpur Shatro and the Alengi Narasimha Shatro practice and preserve this art in addition to Shamoguri, each which adds its own styles and refinements. These Shatros function as unofficial factories or training centers for mask making in addition to their religious and cultural functions. Efforts are currently underway to update and expand this craft globally while maintaining its spiritual core. Majuli masks are a distinctive fusion of purpose, art and tradition. Now, I come to the next instance, which is the Thanka painting. And here I have attached a photo of a Thanka painter with his art. Tibetan Buddhism is the source of the elaborate and profoundly symbolic Thanka painting, which is used as meditation aids as well as sacred symbols. A Thanka is a scroll painting that is typically painted on cotton or silk. It is perfect for monks and devotees who travel or reside in distant monasteries, since it can be folded up. Deities, mandalas, historical occurrences or episodes from the life of Buddha are all shown in these paintings. Since it is thought that the finished painting becomes a sacred object, the Thanka making process is both a spiritual and artistic undertaking that it frequently carried out with ceremonies and a great deal of reverence. In order to ensure the holy form of the thankas, this thin line work, vibrant colors derived from minerals and the use of gold to accentuate religious qualities are characteristics of the highly detailed and ornamental thanka painting style. In order to attract viewers' attention, the focal figure is usually large and more ornately decorated than the surrounding pieces. You can see it, in the photo which I have attached, that there is a large central figure, right, and it is actually surrounded by smaller figures, which actually shows the importance of that larger figure. Thankas can be utilized for a number of religious situations such as festivals, as teaching tools to explain Buddhist doctrine, or in meditation to assist practitioners in visualizing deities or cosmological ideas. Thanka painting is still practiced today by Tibetan Buddhist groups worldwide, as places in India and also in Nepal and Bhutan, despite political upheavals and the migration of Tibetan communities. Remember, to enhance its ceremonial function, the finished thanka is hung on a cloth frame with a wooden dowel, and borders are frequently embellished with brocade. Next, I will talk about the collectives and individuals from East India. Traditional craftsmanship and cultural symbolism are combined in the painstaking and artistic process of creating Chhau mask, which are mostly made in Chorira village in West Bengal's Purulia region. The Purulia Chhau dance, a martial style dance performance that portrays legendary stories from Hindu epics, use this mask. In addition to identifying the role, the mask changes the dancer into a demonic or divine figure, which is crucial to the story being presented. The first step is the process in making a clay mold, which serves as the mask foundation. Depending on the character, the clay is meticulously sculpted to define the facial characteristics, which can be either furious, serene, or heavenly. Once the mold dries slightly, several layers of paper and thin cloth are pasted over it using a natural adhesive made from a mixture of clay and water. The shell is taken out of the mold once it dries and the features are sharpened, and before the final painting process, the mask is covered with a base color, typically white or yellow, after it has dried in the sun. To give the mask life, the artist then uses both natural and synthetic paints to produce vibrant, vivid hues. The face details are defined by intricate brushwork, and in the last step, the mask is embellished with feathers, zari, beads, synthetic hair, sequins, and even mirrors. The statue or nature of the character is either royalty, divinity, demon, or animal, and is indicated by these decorations. For instance, a mask of goddess Durga will feature jewelry designs and a crown, whereas Ravana's mask will have several heads and a menacing look. Depending on its size and complexity, each mask might take 2 to 7 days to construct, and most craftspeople use the age-old techniques. Remember, in Chorida, the whole village is into mask making, and they are doing it for generations, and nowadays they are showcasing their art depending on the size in various handloom fairs, handicraft fairs, and also they are being imported worldwide. So, we started as a simple mask village, right. In Bengali it is called Mukhosh Gram, Chorida. It has become a hub for the Chhau mask, which is being largely widespread throughout India and the world. Now, I will tell you about the Pottochitro painting. Though I have attached a photo of a Pottochitro painter or a Potua we say of West Bengal. He is Rohim Chitrokar, of whose photo I have attached. He is, he has a large, you can say, like work, a large body of work of Pottochitra paintings, has also won several awards. Okay, but I will be discussing about the Pottochitra paintings of Raghurajpur in Orissa. Okay, as I have discussed about the Pottochitra paintings of Bengal in my earlier lectures. One of the oldest and most prized traditional art forms in India are the Pottochitra paintings of Orissa. And remember, the term is derived from the Sanskrit term pata, means cloth, and chitro, which means picture. Pata or pot we say normally. And it is especially thriving in the area around Puri's well known Jagannath temple. Usually these paintings are made on patta or pata we say, a specifically prepared cloth that has been covered with a mixture of natural gum and chalk to make it appropriate for painting. Natural colors coming from minerals, stones and biological elements like conch shell, turmeric and indigo are used by artists to give their paintings their distinctively vivid and powerful appearance. Animal hair or plant fibers are frequently used to make handmade brushes. It takes a lot of work, patience and in-depth understanding of religious symbolism to create a single Pottochitra. Religious themes mostly predominate, and is either of Hindu mythological tales of Lord Jagannath, Lord Krishna, Lord Ram and other gods, and sometimes the Ras Leela of Krishna, the Dasavatara, and scenes from the Mahabharata and Ramayana are among the most well known subjects. Every inch of the canvas is painstakingly packed with motifs, patterns, designs and distinguished by rigorous adherence to conventional composition, ornamental borders and lack of vacant space. As I said you that the Chitrakar or the Pottochitra artists typically labor in family guilds and transmit their knowledge through generation. It has found a home in modern art markets and exhibitions, where it has been transformed into textiles, wall hangings and souvenirs, even though it is still strongly associated with religious and ritualistic purposes. Next, I am going to talk to you about the Kalighat paintings, okay, which is a unique style of Indian art appearing in the 19th century in Kolkata. These paintings were made as cheap mementos for pilgrims who came to the temple, and now it has developed into a distinctive and daring style that represented both social criticism and religious themes. Kalighat paintings are distinguished by the strong outlines, vivid colors and also brush strokes, and represented a dramatic shift from the elaborate and meticulous miniature painting traditions that came before them. One of the very prominent artists of Bengal, Jamini Roy, we say he applies Kalighat painting features in his paintings extensively. He is said to be the doyen of the revival of the Kalighat paintings. The increasing urban middle class was able to purchase this work of art because the artists, many of them went anonymous potuas, and they created them rapidly and in huge quantities. And as we see like previously, the goddess like Kali, Shiv, Lakshmi and Krishna were frequently shown, but now they have started to depict secular themes such as images from Bengali daily life, mythology, folklore, and they also contain incisive societal criticisms that address topics such as colonialism, corruption and the hypocrisy of the affluent elite. Visually, Kalighat paintings are distinguished by its use of simple yet expressive forms, and Kalighat paintings have also found a resurgence in recent decades despite their loss in popularity in the early 20th century as a result of the development of printmaking and mass manufacturing. Because of their inventiveness and contribution to the development, art historians and current artists now honor them as an essential component of India's cultural legacy. Remember, the Kalighat painting features have been also imbibed by the Chitrakars, okay, the Pottochitra also. They have kind of taken some features of these paintings and included them in their scroll. Now I am going to talk about the instances we have from South India. The little Indian village of Cheriyal, which is in the Telangana state, is the birthplace of Cheriyal folk art, a traditional style of scroll painting. These paintings have roots, in regional storytelling customs, and they stand out for their vibrant hues, stylized characters and themes. The scrolls, which originally represented epics, folklore and the lives of regional deities, were utilized for oral storytelling by bardi groups like the Kaki Paragolu and other travelling storytellers. Each scroll, which may be 40 to 45 feet long, would be unfolded panel by panel while the narrative was spoken, frequently with dramatic facial expression and music. Remember, the handmade khadi cloth is made with a mixture of tamarind seed paste, white clay and rice starch, and it produces a sturdy base. And the use of natural colors from flowers, stones, other organic materials gives the painting a vibrant earthy palette with red backgrounds predominating. With their expressive eyes and exaggerated figures, the highly styled figures perfectly convey the story's emotional tone. Here I have attached a photo of a painter painting the scroll, and you can see, as I said, the domination of the color red, and you can see how intricately and how meticulously he is doing every figures, and how with masterly craft he is painting them with his brush strokes. Next, I will talk to you about the Theyyam mask. I have talked about Theyyam a lot, in my earlier lectures, but what I am trying to do is to give you a perspective, of the mask which is utilized in Theyyam, and it is an important part of the Theyyam performance. The Theyyam mask is ingrained in North Malabar, Kerala's ritualistic and cultural legacy. During the performance, these masks are seen as divine symbols that channel the presence of gods, spirits or ancestors. They are not just ornamental items. Theyyam masks are traditionally made by talented craftspeople or members of particular communities, and their creation requires both artistic accuracy and adherence to rituals. The first step in the process is choosing locally accessible natural materials, and wood from fig, mango or jackfruit trees is carefully selected. Depending on the deity or the spirit being portrayed, the wood is first cleaned and then hand carved into the required shape. Typically, this carving features exaggerated facial expressions such as bulging eyes, flared nostrils, wide mouths and vicious fangs. The strength and personality of the heavenly figures such as Kali, Gulikan or Vishnumurti are communicated through these expressive traits. After carving, the mask is smoothed and covered with organic hues created from charcoal, turmeric, lime and plant extract. In a Theyyam mask, each hue has a symbolic meaning: black for protection, white for purity, yellow for sanctity and the red for strength and aggression. This painting itself is an art form, taking hours of preparation and an immense amount of skill. Decorative masks are embellished with palm leaves, coconut husk fibers, colored papers, mirrors and beads for more complex performances, particularly those that feature supernatural entities or warrior spirits. In order to create an imposing and divine figure, these components are added to the outer frame or helmet, which may rise several feet above the performer's head. While some masks are kept in temples or holy houses as totems of local or ancestral deities, others are transient, made new for every performance and then burned or thrown away afterwards. Prior to the performance, chants, offerings and rituals are used to consecrate the masks. And remember, at one point, the person or the actor who is wearing the mask is not seen anymore as a human, but rather as an embodiment of the divine. Once the actor or the performer wears the mask, the people normally believe that the divine qualities of that deity comes to that person, and then only they can perform so well. The creation of the Theyyam masks thus is a combination of ritual, art and devotion that has been upheld by generations of cultural memory and oral tradition. We also have the historic dance drama of Kathakali or the Kathakali we say, one of the most recognizable types of Keralan dance. Though it is very classical, the dance Kathakali, but the mask making is very much a part of the folk culture. Because intricate storytelling, expressive gestures and the use of colorful costumes and masks are hallmarks of Kathakali, which assist to bring celestial figures and mythological characters to life. An integral component of Kathakali, are the mask, which depicts the characters in their most heightened symbolic and emotional manifestation. The first step in creating a Kathakali mask is choosing materials, which are typically strong but lightweight, including paper mache, clay or wood, commonly jackfruit or mango. Each color in Kathakali also holds symbolic meaning. Okay? For example, red for heroic, green for noble, black for demon and negative, white for serene and gentle deities, and like the gods of mask of Lakshmi. To improve expressiveness, the face is embellished with intricate lines, marks and patterns. For instance, the green-faced marks stand for heroes and virtue seekers, whether the red-faced are usually associated with evildoers or angry gods. In order to finish the mask and give the character a larger-than-life appearance, artists frequently employ cloth, beads, mirrors and gold leaf. A sense of grandeur is created by these decorations and heightens the performer's dramatic onstage presence. Since masks are revered in Kathakali, the process also culminates with blessing the mask, and it is an essential part of a ceremonial process as well as an artistic endeavor, guaranteeing that the mask serves as a medium for the character's spirit to emerge. We also have the Bhuta mask, which are an essential component of Karnataka. India's rich cultural legacy, and the Bhutakala, a customary ritualistic performance that combines dance, theatre and worship, is linked to this mask. Invoked during these acts, the term Bhuta alludes to a deity or ghost, frequently an ancestor, guardian or protector. These spirits are honored during the Bhutakala, and the mask stand in for these celestial beings. Although some may be constructed from different materials like clay or metal, the majority are made from wood. Although some, as I said, may be different from material, their elaborate carving, which frequently depict oversized eyes, pointed teeth and ferocious faces, are intended to communicate the might and mystic of the spirits they stand for. The exaggerated characteristics which represent the Bhuta's unadulterated energy and supernatural might are intended to inspire awe and terror in people who watch the performance. Every mask is unique, and some of the patterns are meant to symbolize gods, demons or ancestors. In addition, the mask colors and patterns are significant: red, black and white. And these ornate masks are worn by dancers who embody the spirit of the deity during the Bhutakala performance. The performers actually slip into a trance-like state as a result of the fast-paced, intense dance moves, which is thought to be a type of spirit possession. We should remember that the Bhuta masks are not only, a part of the culture, but they also have the spiritual side and also the religious side, which makes them more important and pertinent in Karnataka. Next, I am going to talk about the examples from Western India, and here I will be discussing about the Kutch embroidery. In the Kutch region of Gujarat, and it is also called the Kutchi embroidery. Traditionally, rural women from several communities like the Rabari, Ahir and Meghwal practice this embroidery, which is renowned for its vivid color, intricate designs and variety of techniques. The artisans' community's identity, values and social mores are reflected in the embroidery, which is more than just ornamental. The employment of striking geometric designs, intricate floral, animal, bird and everyday life themes and mirror work which gives the fabric glitter and depth are the characteristics. Usually, bright colors like red, green, yellow, black and orange are used for the stitching, which is done on cotton or silk cloth using silk or cotton threads. Commonly used, are the chain stitch, satin stitch, herringbone thread and interlacing stitches. Intricately sewn into the designs are mirrors which are believed to to ward off the evil eye in addition to being ornamental. Now, I will be talking about the instances from North India. Sangeeta Jogi, a member of the Jogi community from rural Rajasthan, is renowned for the traditional tail drawings. And what is the Jogi art form? It is distinguished by elaborate black ink dots and dashes on white paper that portray people in landscapes. Here I have attached a photo of Lajwanti Chhabra, a Padma Shri recipient from Patiala, Punjab, who has played a significant role in restoring and popularizing Fulkari, a traditional embroidered art form of Punjab. She is very self-taught, and in her grassroots efforts, she started studying the technique from her grandma when she was 6 years old. And acknowledging the diminishing custom, she committed herself to conserving and advancing Fulkari, helping women craftspeople in rural areas in the process. Lajwanti began producing Fulkari items for individual use in the 1980s. In 1985, the Crafts Council of India took notice of her work and opened doors for her to sell her handcrafted goods and teach the other women the skill. She taught Fulkari skills and linked craftspeople with marketplaces while travelling through Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana and Uttarakhand. Several honors have been given to her: President's Award in 1993, National Merit Award in 1992. Also, she received the Padma Shri in 2021 in recognition of her contribution to Fulkari's revival. She has promoted the art form internationally by showcasing her work in international exhibitions in nations like Argentina, Germany, UK and Turkey. She has shown us, that how Fulkari can be carried forward, and we can say she is the epitome that how she carried forward the legacy of a diminishing custom, made her own name and carved a niche for other women who were doing the Fulkari work. Okay. So, previously, I have given you the name of the the art forms, and now I will be giving you from this slide the name of the artists who have taken the art to an international level. Fulkari now is done in cotton, chiffon, kota doria, but normally it was done on khaddar. Saris, stoles, dupattas, suits, bedspreads, sheets, every every item has now Fulkari embroidery on them. And in order to help drug addicted kids reintegrate, Lajwanti intended to establish a training facility in Patiala where they would learn Fulkari embroidery techniques. Lajwanti Chhabra's commitment and creative methods have not only brought back a dying craft but also given rural women stable jobs, guaranteeing the survival and advancement of Fulkari needlework. Now, I will be talking about the instances from Central India. The rich tapestry of folk and tribal art in Central India is frequently maintained by people who have taken the role of guardians of their cultural legacy in spite of their lack of formal education. These unnoticed ethnographers, artists, activists and civic leaders are essential in preserving customs that could otherwise be lost to time. For example, we have Lado Bai. I have attached a photo of her. She is a self-taught Bhil tribal artist from Jhabua, whose art is strongly influenced by the animistic beliefs and rituals of her culture. With the support of well-known artist Jagdish Swaminathan, she switched from creating murals to jute to canvas. She still makes colorful representations of Bhil folklore today at the Adivasi Lok Kala Academy in Bhopal. I'll give you a brief conclusion about it. Throughout India, unofficial ethnographers, often self-taught practitioners, community members or grassroots artists are essential to the preservation and revival of folk and tribal art tradition. Their profound cultural immersion and intuitive understanding have resulted in creative preservation initiatives despite their lack of formal academic background. When Bulu Imam founded TWAC in 1993, there were perhaps 40 female artists. Now 5,000 artists are currently members of it, and more than 60 international venues have displayed their work. The Vacha Museum, which is a part of the Adivasi Academy in Tejgarh, Gujarat, was founded in 1998 by G.N. Dave. Indigenous groups have worked together to preserve and record their oral histories, languages and cultural practices through this museum. Orissa-based folk musician and environmentalist Sudarshan Shah, inspired by his early love with drawing of roosters, pursued a career in art without receiving any official instruction. Shah frequently includes themes of wildlife protection in his work. Using leftover straw, Orissa-based self-taught artist Prodipta Kumar Nayak created a novel art form. Nayak's straw art, which was influenced by Pottochitru, has become well known for its inventiveness. Now, coming to the end of my 5th lecture of the 11th module, what I have tried to show you, that despite not having formal education, despite not having cutting edge technology and all the privileges, these people have taken the art forward, carried the legacy, has revived the folk culture, making it a part of this society and our life, and they are, we can say, the instances of the barefoot historians who have taken forward the art and revived, as I said, the culture, also kind of keeping in track with the tradition and their grassroots facilities. These are the few instances I have given of how people and groups are successfully conserving, as I said, and reviving folk and tribal art traditions. They started with a very, you can say, a minimum kind of a like a basic kind of a thing, but now they have flourished, they are winning awards and they are also going international. So what the term barefoot I have used means starting very basic and keeping the culture, but now they have carved a niche of their own. Thank you and see you in my next lecture.